When a threat is too strange, too magical, or too otherworldly for regular heroes, the Defenders will be assembled once again. So then, let's hop into issue number 1 from Al Ewing and find out what happens together next, shall we? So then, as we join this debut issue, we find Dr. Stephen Strange inside his Sanctum Sanctorum playing with tarot cards. The tarot cards, their meanings, and how they end up relating to other members of the Defenders team actually ends up becoming a major thematic point moving forward, so here's hoping you didn't OD on tarot card stuff from X of Swords, because this thing is just positively loaded with it. Doctor Strange's peace is ultimately shattered by a mysterious intruder. Hey kids, it's the Masked Raider. Remember him? Back in 2019, Marvel thought he was going to be a big deal. And then he just kind of wasn't, but Al Ewing isn't the sort of guy to give up hope, so here he is now. Doctor Strange naturally thinks this guy has broken into his house to do him harm because, well, friends don't normally break into your house, do they? The Raider is incredibly powerful as the mask on his face just so happens to be a piece of eternity, but Doctor Strange is a wily one and figures if this guy is getting a magical edge, then he's just gonna cast a spell to make it so that they can only rely on the magical abilities within their physical bodies. But, you know, having a brown belt also helps too. After defeating the Masked Raider, he and Doctor Strange can finally talk like adults. They even have some tea because Doctor Strange loves him some tea. We get a quick recap of the Masked Raider's history, how there's actually been several heroes who have used that name over the years, how the mask was created by a group of rogue wizards calling themselves the Enclave in an attempt to try and topple the kings of their eras. But eventually the Raider and the wizards ended up having a falling out, and now they've been fighting a shadow war with each other for generations. This Masked Raider actually thought that he had the Enclave on the ropes and may very well have been able to deal with their final scientist, a man named Dr. Zota. That plan became quickly complicated when Raider found out that the Enclave was actually working on resurrecting Korvac. Yes, that Korvac from the Korvac saga. Want to know more about that? Be sure to pick up the current Cantwell Iron Man book for information. Korvac ultimately ended up turning against Zota because seriously, the Enclave has a terrible history with their creations turning on them. And with his back against the wall and the Raider about to shoot him, Zota decided to leave the science behind and instead pick up a dark book of magic, one that would allow him to travel through time. Yeah, that's right everybody, Al Ewing's new Defenders book is all about magical time travel, which they are very sure to say is totally different from scientific time travel. Turns out this evil book was actually written by a 31st century wizard who went by the name Sice Neg, which yes, is just Genesis written backwards. Actually, this character existed before. In fact, they're a 70s Englehart creation. Seeing just how serious this problem is with an evil scientist jumping through time using dark magic, Doctor Strange figures now is as good a time as any to reconvene his secret Defenders. Only, you know, he just doesn't pick up the phone, maybe write a text or an email to get people to join his team. Oh no, this is a magical problem and as such needs a magical solution. Steven decides that he'll let the tarot deck decide who gets to join this newest incarnation of the Defenders. Naturally, him and the Masked Raider are on the team, making up the Magician and the Hierophant. The next card drawn is Judgment, and it corresponds with Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer, usually considered to be an original Defender, though in truth he actually joined a little later. Him and Steven go way back, and he has the Power Cosmic on his side, so you know it's a pretty good pick for the team. After that, Strange draws the High Priestess card, which brings to him Betty Ross, aka Betty Banner, aka the former Red She-Hulk and current Red Harpy. Red Harpy is also a pretty big holdover from Al Ewing's own Immortal Hulk series, and the card actually shows her sitting on a throne, very similar to how the Hulk sat on the throne of Shadowbase. Betty was also a former member of the Defenders too, and she's essentially filling the Hulk role for this team too, which is cool. Now the last member of the team is actually the biggest gun of all. It's Cloud the Living Nebula, not to be confused with the actual character whose name is Nebula. Cloud is a deeply strange, high-concept 80s J.M. DeMatteis creation. They're able to take both male and female forms. They had a romance with Moondragon back in the day, and bringing them back here now to this realm is such a major strain on Strange's magical abilities, he has to sacrifice his ego. Which is basically a big, long, and complicated way of saying, hey, remember all those rules for magic that Jason Aaron had set in place all that time ago and that Doctor Strange had been playing by? Yeah, well, we're throwing all those away now. Magic is whatever the hell we want it to to be now, no rules. Now, after messing with the fallout of basically creating a brand new star within his Sanctum Sanctorum, Doctor Strange and his brand new ragtag team of heroes end up coming to on an alien world. Oh, but this isn't just any alien world, this is planet Ta in the year 6th Infinity. Which chances are, if you're an expert on your Marvel cosmology, you already know that this is the planet that Galen, aka the man who will become Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, actually came from. Only here's the thing, the Defenders find themselves on this world way before Galen ever became Galactus, and that's because the alien woman yelling at them right now is Thea, also known as Galactus's mom. Which I must say, this lady's got it going on, you know, Galactus, he came from good stock. Now, just because this is the time before Galactus doesn't mean the Defenders can relax, because as you see, before Galactus' 8 worlds, there was another, Omnimax the Devourer. And he's looking to make these new Defenders his latest meal as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Defenders issue number 1, everybody, and you gotta give Al Ewing credit, he certainly went for broke here in this first issue. This is a man who we've already seen tackle a bunch of different science fiction, gods and monsters, mythology, and now it seems that he wants to take a crack at magical time travel too. You certainly can't say he rests on his laurels, that's for sure. Honestly, I thought this first issue was fine. It certainly didn't knock my socks off or anything, but it's certainly the most interested I've been in picking up a Defenders book in a very long time. Ewing certainly hits home the fact that unlike the Avengers, the Defenders are actually a lot more individualist in nature, and that they only come together when a problem is this big and this strange. If you're a fan of old-timey Marvel Cosmic too, then your cup certainly runneth over, as Al Ewing makes a ton of different references and callbacks. Heck, I think I'm a pretty big comic fan, and even I had to Google stuff. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's no Immortal Hulk, but it could potentially get there someday, who knows. Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.